The Canary Islands are often imagined as a sunny holiday escape, but their story is much bigger than beaches and resorts. This archipelago sits in the Atlantic Ocean, roughly 100 kilometers off the northwest coast of Africa, yet politically it belongs to Spain. That single fact makes the islands a geographic paradox: African in location, European in government, Atlantic in identity, and historically tied to routes reaching the Americas. The Canaries are the southernmost autonomous community of Spain and the most populous overseas special territory connected to the European Union. Their position has made them more than a destination. For centuries, they have acted as a stepping stone between continents, a strategic waypoint for ships, and a place where climate, geology, politics, and tourism all meet. The archipelago is made up of 7 main islands, usually listed from largest to smallest as Tenerife, Fuerteventura, Gran Canaria, Lanzarote, La Palma, La Gomera, and El Hierro. A smaller inhabited island, La Graciosa, is administratively linked to Lanzarote. Around them are smaller islands and islets, including Alegranza, Isla de Lobos, Montaña Clara, Roque del Oeste, and Roque del Este. This scattered geography matters because the Canary Islands are not one uniform place. Each island has its own terrain, settlement patterns, economy, and atmosphere. Tenerife and Gran Canaria are the population and administrative heavyweights, while islands like La Gomera and El Hierro are smaller, quieter, and more defined by rugged landscapes. Together, they form Spain's largest and most populated archipelago. The islands belong to a wider Atlantic region known as Macaronesia, a group of archipelagos that also includes places such as Madeira, the Azores, and Cape Verde. Within that region, the Canaries stand out because of their size, population, and political importance. Historically, they were sometimes called the Fortunate Isles, a name that captured how sailors and writers imagined them: remote, mild, and unusually blessed by climate. But their fortune was not only natural. Their location near the African coast and along Atlantic navigation routes gave them a strategic value that few island groups could match. They became a link between Africa, Europe, and the Americas, not simply because of where they are, but because wind systems and ocean routes made them useful to empires and trade. During the Age of Sail, the Canary Islands played a major role in Spanish transatlantic movement. Spanish galleons heading toward the Americas often stopped there before crossing the ocean. This route was not accidental. Ships sailing from Europe would move south to catch the northeasterly trade winds, which could help carry them westward across the Atlantic. In a world before engines, understanding wind was power, and islands in the right place could become crucial infrastructure. The Canaries offered a place to resupply, regroup, and enter the wind systems that connected the old world to the new. This helped embed the islands in the history of Spanish colonization of the Americas, making them a maritime hinge between continents. Today, the Canary Islands are home to more than 2.2 million people, making them one of Spain's more populous autonomous communities despite their oceanic position. Population is not evenly spread across the archipelago. Tenerife holds roughly 43% of the population, while Gran Canaria holds about 39%. That means more than 4 out of 5 residents live mainly on 2 islands. This concentration shapes everything from infrastructure and housing to political influence and transport. The Canaries also have a high population density compared with many Spanish regions. Their population is large enough to support major cities and services, but it is compressed into limited island territory, creating a constant balance between development, conservation, tourism, and everyday life. Politically, the Canary Islands are an autonomous community of Spain, but their internal structure is unusually balanced. In 1927, the old province of the Canary Islands was split into 2 provinces, Santa Cruz de Tenerife and Las Palmas. Later, in 1982, the autonomous community of the Canary Islands was formally established. The capital is shared between 2 cities, Santa Cruz de Tenerife and Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. This dual capital arrangement reflects the importance of the 2 largest islands and prevents one from dominating the archipelago's identity completely. Las Palmas de Gran Canaria has long been the largest city in the Canaries, while Santa Cruz de Tenerife has played a central political role. Together, they anchor the region's administration. The largest urban centers reveal how the islands combine history with modern life. Las Palmas de Gran Canaria is the biggest city in the archipelago and has held that position for most of the modern era. Santa Cruz de Tenerife is both a provincial capital and one of the shared capitals of the autonomous community. The third largest city, San Cristobal de la Laguna, is also on Tenerife and is recognized as a World Heritage Site. This matters because the Canaries are not just resort zones built for visitors. They contain historic cities, universities, ports, local industries, and long-established communities. Tourism is highly visible, but the islands also function as a complex Spanish region with deep urban and cultural roots. The physical landscape of the Canary Islands is shaped by volcanism. The most famous example is Mount Tide on Tenerife, a World Heritage Site and the highest peak in Spain. Measured from its base on the ocean floor, Tide is also considered the third tallest volcano in the world. This gives the Canaries a dramatic vertical geography: coastlines, cliffs, valleys, lava fields, pine forests, and high mountain zones can appear within relatively short distances. The islands are not flat tropical postcards. They are volcanic structures rising from the Atlantic, and that origin explains much of their scenery, soil, climate variation, and scientific importance. The same forces that created their beauty also make them geologically distinctive. Climate is one of the main reasons the Canary Islands are so famous. At sea level, the islands have warm summers and winters mild enough to be technically tropical. But the story is more nuanced than simply saying they are warm. Rainfall, wind, and temperature vary by island, by coastline, and especially by elevation. Some areas are green and humid, while others are semi-desert. Fuerteventura and Lanzarote, for example, are known for drier, more arid landscapes, while parts of La Palma, La Gomera, and Tenerife can be much greener. The ocean moderates temperatures, and the mountains interrupt clouds and winds. This creates microclimates, allowing very different environments to exist close together. Tourism is central to the modern Canary Islands economy. In 2023, the islands received more than 14 million visitors, with Tenerife, Gran Canaria, Fuerteventura, and Lanzarote among the most visited. The appeal is easy to understand: beaches, year-round warmth, striking volcanic landscapes, and natural landmarks. Maspalomas in Gran Canaria is famous for its dunes and coastal scenery, while Mount Tide draws visitors into one of Spain's most iconic national landscapes. But tourism also brings pressure. Millions of arrivals require hotels, roads, airports, water, energy, and workers. For island environments, those demands can be especially intense. The challenge is to benefit from tourism while protecting the landscapes and communities that make the islands attractive in the first place. The same geography that attracts tourists also makes the Canary Islands valuable for science. Their high mountains rise above the temperature inversion layer, creating excellent conditions for astronomical observation. This is why the archipelago hosts two professional observatories, the Tide Observatory on Tenerife and the Roque de los Muchachos Observatory on La Palma. These sites benefit from dark skies, stable air, and high elevation. In astronomy, atmosphere can blur the view of space, so being above much of the disturbance is a major advantage. The Canaries therefore connect not only continents and ocean routes, but also Earth and the cosmos. Their isolation and elevation make them windows into the universe. So the Canary Islands are best understood as a crossroads. They are Spanish, but closer to Africa than mainland Europe. They are island resorts, but also historic cities, scientific platforms, and volcanic landscapes. They are part of the European Union's wider presence overseas, but their identity has been shaped by Atlantic winds, migration, trade, and geography. Their shared capitals reflect internal balance. Their population is concentrated yet spread across distinct islands. Their climate is mild, but not uniform. And their history reaches from ancient ideas of fortunate islands to galleons sailing toward the Americas. The Canaries endure because they are not just one thing. They are a meeting point of worlds. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.